with this from AP, and you wanted to talk about the situation with Alex Jones and the trial.
So he's there's a defamation trial. It's being held in Texas here, and I think this is really important, especially for us in the independent media, to understand exactly what's going on here. So they're going to rule on this, and so there's a few questions that the jury's going to have to consider here, and one of them, in terms of the defense, Alex Jones's legal team, obviously making a First Amendment defense here. Could the jury decide what Jones did is protected by the First Amendment? And in this type of a trial, in this case, the answer is no. The judge has already ruled that Jones is liable for defamation inflicted of emotional distress, invasion of privacy, violating Connecticut's unfair trade practices laws, etc. The jury's job is to decide how much money he owes for harming the people who sued him over his lies. That's directly from Associated Press. So this is an important trial here. You know, Alex Jones is being kind of publicly canceled here on a level that few people have ever experienced in the United States. And Alex Jones actually is not on trial here. What's really on trial here is the First Amendment and freedom of speech. Because if if the speech is ridiculous, if it's outlandish, if it's that person's opinion about what they think happened at a certain event or a certain incident. It might be right, it might be wrong, but that's not the point. The speech itself should be protected, is protected under the US Constitution, under the First Amendment. So now this is beginning to be repealed. And this is an important precedent case because if this is allowed to go through, and this is basically the new standard, because again, it's down to the judge and how they actually interpret. No doubt there's going to be appeal here of some sort, and there's other cases that are ongoing on this same topic. But it doesn't leave a lot of room for freedom of speech or the First Amendment in the United States. Obviously, our rights are delineated in the Constitution in writing, not the same in Britain. But I think the precedent and the standard is going to be set. And you have to look, what caused all the speculation to begin with is because the federal government took over the case and basically sealed any public access to any of the evidence or anything for over a year after the actual incident took place at Sandy Hook on in December of 2012. Okay, so during that time when everything was sealed and they wouldn't release any information to the public about the biggest mass shooting, as it were, this horrific major event, that's when all the speculation filled the vacuum of information. And there are people who did much more wild takes on Sandy Hook than Alex Jones did. Okay, but he is the biggest. So they're targeting the person with the biggest platform, the most politically consequential and active and influential person in the kind of arguably in the alternative media outlet in terms of helping the last US president previous to Biden get elected, that sort of thing. He's now become a political target. So if it wasn't for the federal government sealing that case and making it a federal case, which is a local homicide case, became a federal case, even though there was no interstate activity going on here. They sealed it. That's when the speculation mushroomed and went out of control, some would say. And then, under public pressure, the law enforcement then uh, basically relented and started releasing drip feeding information out in 20 after 2013. But it took public pressure from a lot of different people, journalists, even alternative media people, to get the government to start releasing information about this secretive crime scene.
Yeah.
So that's my take on that is a little more nuanced, granted, than what you're going to see in the media coverage on this. But I think that needs to be said. This is important. So again, this isn't just about the wild Alex Jones here. This is
Yeah.
about the First Amendment.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Patrick. Just very, in one word, could this go all the way to the Supreme Court?
There's always a potential of the circuit court and of appeals. Supreme Court. The state court, it will have some latitude there, but it's a defamation case, so I don't know what the actual ins and outs are legally, but I think this is a civil case. So again, this kind of in some ways sits outside of that other process. If it was a state prosecution, I think, or something like came from the DA, I'm not sure what the grounds or the latitude for appeal is, but certainly this is something that shouldn't end here with this particular judgment. It shouldn't end here, and I hope it doesn't.
Okay. Okay. Well,
And we all
unfortunately,
should hope it
yeah,
doesn't.
well, indeed. Unfortunately, we're out of time. We will be back in a few minutes, of course, for some extra for anybody on the UK column stream. But otherwise, we will see you 1 p.m. as usual on Monday. Hope everyone has a great weekend. Thanks for joining us, and see you then.